Chiefs Kingdom, welcome in to the AP breakdown. We are back after another Chiefs victory. Geez, 8-0 now on the season into week 10. We are the AP breakdown team, Ron Kopp Jr. at Ron_Kopp on Twitter. With me, as always, a great film analyst for the site, arrowheadpride.com, Caleb James at CJ Scoobs. Caleb, we are back. Another win, another primetime win. An overtime win this time. They really made you sweat. But 8-0. How you feeling after that one?
A lot of people are saying it's an ugly 8-0. Maybe they're saying the team doesn't look perfect. That's fine because 8-0 is all that matters. Just getting those wins, and if you weren't paying attention, the Chiefs might have gotten drastically better over the last 2 weeks because General Manager Brett Veach never rests. But we'll get into that here in a minute.
No, I think that's the thing. 8-0 might have been ugly, but this Chiefs offense might be hitting stride at the right time. You mentioned maybe the new addition playing into that. You're going to break that down for us tonight. Because the Chiefs offense definitely, won them this game. The defense definitely let a few too many scores happen. We may talk about that towards the end. But yeah, no, let's get into it because this was Patrick Mahomes, one of his most productive days. It wasn't his highest season total for yardage, but he did set a season high for completions, completion rate, touchdown passes, passer rating. Definitely one of the best games we've seen from the Chiefs pass offense.
Yeah, and he also made a play like this. Not even going to say anything. Just watch for a second.
Oh, man. How fun was this?
Being there in person and seeing this play kind of unfold down the field just brought back memories from like the 2018 to 2020 teams where it was just big time gunslinging. But let's take a look at it because this ball is going down to Hopkins and it is third down. Mahomes was 11 for 13 on third down. I think the Chiefs were 13 for 18 overall. They dominated on these critical downs. And they really did a good job to take advantage of Tampa Bay. They get in their little bunch formation here. And Xavier Worthy's pulling up you see Xavier Worthy. He's drawing a lot of attention from the high safety there. And they got these safeties up here. He's drawing the attention from those guys. And you see Kelsey draws the attention on the out route from the cornerback. So he's just, taking this over. You're taking over that attention. They're dropping their coverage about to the sticks where the third down marker is, and that's about where Hop runs his route to. And right here, I think he's open. I think if Pat can get a ball off, he probably leads him a little bit to the inside. First down, no problem. Yeah. A little bit of pressure in the pocket. It's getting crushed a little bit. Tampa Bay still has a solid pass rush. But Mahomes, you can't really see it too well from this angle, but he is, under some distress. But what happens now is awesome because you're going to see this chemistry start to take over. You see Hopkins recognize there's a massive void because these guys, the high safety is looking at Xavier Worthy and everyone else is guarding the sticks. Well, Hopkins sees that he's got some room to run, and I think Pat sees that also. So you're getting ready to fire this pass down the field, and Hopkins does a great job tracking it through the air, and he's got two defenders closing in on him with a third hot in pursuit, and he goes up and just makes a heck of a contested catch to get down inside the 5-yard line. He absolutely sells out for this pass. Great hand-eye coordination, and it's a great job, just that little improvisation right there between him and Mahomes. You're starting to see that, and they've only played 2 games together, but seeing that this early in this kind of setting has got to excite people. And go ahead.
Well, no, that was just a great example of, like you said, the instant chemistry. You can tell Mahomes knows he has an all-pro receiver, that he hasn't had before, someone he can trust in those situations. He hates throwing in those kind of situations. He hates throwing in tight windows. He hates throwing in triple coverage like that. But man, he knows he can trust D-Hop in that kind of situation.
And look at this, first touchdown Arrowhead. I think we talked about it last week. They're going to try to give him the ball a couple times in the red zone, let him celebrate a little bit. But there's a lot of eye candy on this also. Chiefs have been very effective. And this was a third down also. Chiefs have been very effective all game. Kareem Hunt was just he's not been the most efficient runner, but he's been a physical runner. And this is like his situation. Well, they motion him out. That kind of draws this attention. And now you've got this eye candy. You got Travis Kelce getting ready to break back to the middle. You got Kareem Hunt going out to the flat. You got a guy who has been drawing more attention each week in Noah Gray, working a route too. But Hopkins kind of comes up, and you watch, he's going to slow play this out of his stance. And, if you know anything about Hopkins, people are thinking, all right, they're going to try to isolate him, maybe get like a one-on-one contested catch jump ball. He slow plays, and then he breaks in because you see the safeties breaking right there because Kelsey breaks, and Mahomes, just watch the little stuff Mahomes does here real quick because it's pretty nice also. But you see right on snap, just gives a quick head fake over there to Mr. Ross, who's wearing a different number now. 82 gave his number up to Nuke, which is kind of what you have to do. Sometimes maybe a little cash got exchanged between those two fellas. But you see the safety sees Kelsey break to the middle, and he instantly goes for that. But Hopkins gets the inside leverage, and he's wide open. Mahomes delivers a good pass, and it's a touchdown for the Chiefs there. That was awesome, but guess what? They weren't done. And I think that's the awesome part about this game in general, was that they were just trying to find ways to get Hopkins the ball, and they did so in the red zone a couple of times. Here he's isolated out wide, and the Tampa Bay, their cornerback, is probably thinking, this could be back shoulder, maybe an acrobatic catch is coming, Pat's coming up, getting the line set, communicating there with P. Ryan. But as you see, Hopkins kind of comes out of his stance, and he just does that quick little jab to beat, there's a little too much space there, which obviously you're going to give a guy like Hopkins some space so that you do have a little bit of room to go up. And if he does try to make a contested catch on a ball or one of those acrobatic plays, you're going to have a little bit of wiggle room to get in there and knock the pass away. You can go out and play it a little bit better instead of just being like blanketed up on him where he can just go up and reach on him. But where he does here is just a great quick break to the inside, and he's already won the play, just out of position. I mean, the defense, there's nothing they can do because Pat's off right on the money, just a strong catch to bring it in. And yeah, good for the Chiefs. They wanted to target him a lot, and they should target him a lot. I mean, that's the kind of play right there that they have not had. I mean, when's the last time outside of Kelsey the Chiefs have had a guy who they can isolate on one side of the field and he just runs a perfect route and scores a touchdown? It's been a minute.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what they got with him. And, I wanted to point out on that play too, you see the Chiefs a lot of times, they go with a 4-by-1 set to try to really make the defense overcommit, to one side of the field. And on that play, you actually saw them, they had the running back stay in on that other side. So it was kind of a 3-by-2, held the linebacker, gave D-Hop that little bit of space to get that slant window. Yeah, no, the Chiefs are finding different ways to give him space, and that was another way to do it.
Yeah, now you know what the awesome thing about having like Hopkins and Kelsey and like Worthy and all this stuff they're starting to show with them, it's going to continue to open up stuff because now you watch and Hopkins comes over in motion, same side as Kelsey. Well, we have to pay attention to these two guys, but let's see how the Chiefs take advantage of this because Kelsey's going to break in, instantly draws that attention from the linebacker, and you see Hopkins is headed on more of like a post route to the end zone. He's drawing the attention of the other secondary players there. But look at old Piron. Piron's just headed to the flat, just a little leak out play. Not too worried about the pass rush here, but Pat sees that little lane, and he's going to take it. And he starts kind of looking back towards the middle, and that's going to hold these guys just for a second. But as Pat starts to take off, you see that safety start to play up. And the safety's playing up, and the linebacker designated for Piron is also going to release, and the Buccaneers should have known better because they've seen this before because you know what Pat's getting ready to do, and he just flips it in there on third down because there was a ton of room cleared out. There was a ton of space because these guys are preoccupied with Kelsey and Hopkins. Now, this is a very scary play. Being up in the stands, you see this happen, a non-contact like play like that where your quarterback goes down 9 times out of 10, that is not going to be a good situation for your football team. This one ended up working in the Chiefs' favor, which I don't know. I mean, it's just the Mahomes flexibility.
Yeah.
I guess that's all we can say to describe it. But you saw Piron get involved there. They also got Justin Watson makes a few plays here on these third down situations also. And that's because you see this play. This is pretty similar to the play that the Chiefs – this is very similar, if not the exact same play that the Chiefs just ran on the big long pass to Hopkins, just without the improvisation because the pocket was clean. You see where, you've obviously got some guys mixed and matched around in the formation, but the concept is the same. because you have Hopkins motioning a little late here, but you've got Worthy clearing out the top. Hopkins goes on the out route, but you have a guy wide open at the middle, at the sticks, where all he has to do is turn around, and you needed 8, and he gets 20. So that's always nice. Really underrated aspect of this play, though. Watch the guy who looks like he's just inside of the defensive end, that linebacker watched up. He's actually getting ready to run a little coffee house look here. And he drops back like he's going to drop back at the last second because he thinks he's full and pat, and then he's going to come. And, that's not really P. Ryan's fault. That's a good fake out by the backer. And P. Ryan's got his blocking assignment also. But 15 doesn't flinch because he knows his guy is going to be on site. And if you also go back, you take a look at this other linebacker up here towards the top of the screen. Kelsey stays in,
yes,
looking like he's going to block, but that holds him in place for just a second because now Kelsey has this little late leak, but that's all the time that Watson needs to get underneath. He gets over that first level of coverage just because they're paying attention to Kelsey and Hopkins, and everyone's worried about Xavier Worthy going deep. So they just get the ball in there to Watson. Beautiful little play down the line. And then
that was a good play. No, I'm glad you pointed out the attention on Kelsey because you actually saw him and the strong safety was kind of over that to that side, leaned over that way, just completely opened up the right hash where Justin Watson could just chill and wait for that pass.
Absolutely, and it was a similar concept, if not the same concept, just different guys lined out that they use on the deep ball. But let's go ahead and get to the last, critical third down play of the game. And I saw a little mic'd up here a second ago of Pat Mahomes saying, with the game on the line in the red zone, just saying, run it, run it. And if he's got that level of confidence in Kareem Hunt and this offensive line and these run blockers, then you run it. And really, I thought this was an awesome way to end the game because in overtime, Tampa Bay's tired from running around all game. The Chiefs just came out. They were in 13. They were in formations that looked like they were in 13 personnel. Heck, they could have been in 14 personnel a couple of those times. These big formations where they've just got all these tight ends, all these bodies on the line of scrimmage, and they just work their way down the field. And I know people are saying Kareem Hunt's having a good season, not the most efficient yards per carry, but where he's been extremely effective is inside the 5-yard line and inside these short yard situations, kind of like we discussed when they first picked him up. But look at this, coming out a little offset I formation, extra lineman in with Caliendo, and they're running 2-back power. So you got Carson Steele kicking out number 3, which he does just enough, gets a good shot on him there. And look at Joe Tooney pulling around here. Love this because he just squares up the linebacker, great pad level, does a great job to root him out, and then just the surge off the line. You see, really, I thought the key to this play really comes from Caliendo and Noah Gray. You see they're getting ready to double team on 88. Jawan Taylor gets just enough in 92. But look at this movement they create with that double team. And then Kareem, just lowers his shoulder and bullies his way into the end zone. That's a heck of a way to end the game. And I still think maybe the way they ended that game, there's still a little sour taste in some of those guys' mouths from how that Super Bowl ended back in 2020, where they did get out physical. And I think every time they've played Tampa Bay since then, they've made a collective effort that they're going to be the aggressor. They're going to dominate the line of scrimmage. And they did. They definitely did that. And it helped them win the game. This team was elite on third down. They did what they had to do to win.
Well, and in the red zone too. I mean, the cool thing about some of those finishing, drives in the red zone, getting touchdowns on those drives is, you just mentioned, I think all 3 of those plays with the touchdowns before. And then I know that last play was 3rd and goal, Mahomes talking about running the ball, that wasn't 1st and goal. That wasn't 2nd and goal, that was 3rd and goal. And he still was saying, hey, let's run the ball. Let's get this in. Let's punch it in. Yeah, no, actually all 4 of those touchdowns all came on 3rd and goal. On 3rd down, that's resilience. That's the team coming up clutch. I love the idea it's not an idea anymore. I mean, we're seeing it in live action of Kelsey and Hopkins, how they, just work off each other. That Hopkins, that first touchdown you highlighted, the high-low where, the safety's coming down on Kelsey and Hopkins is the right guy to take advantage and find that window, man. We're seeing something special. I can't believe we got D-Hop in Kansas City. It really is wild. I mean, this offense is right back on track, isn't it? Doesn't it feel like it?
No, I mean, I'm just trying to keep this in perspective. I know everyone's excited right now, but I just I just can't help but thinking this is going to be a really special season. Like right now, I know obviously we're 8-0, but they've played this way for almost a year now, where they have to
Yeah.
go in and just slug these games out. They go in and just play horribly ugly football where it's just, yeah, we need the defense every snap, every time they can make a play on the ball. We're going to need them. We have to rely on our offensive line and our running game, even though, we've had just like musical chairs at running back, especially with this team. So they've built up like this mentality where they want to go in and just out physical people. And now, you've got like that fighter's mentality, but now you've got like a premium piece with DeAndre Hopkins, a premium player where you can open back up the explosion of your offense. And let me tell you, that's going to open stuff up for everyone. I mean, it's going to be like, I have a feeling we're going to get back to the point with the Chiefs offense by the end of this, where it's going to be dealer's choice on how you want to get beat. And that should really scare a lot of people.
Well, yeah, no, a Twitter user agrees with you. That's joining us tonight. Chiefs not scared of a back alley fight, they say. So, yeah, no, I think they have proven that through the first 8 games of this season. This game at times felt like that kind of fight, and the Chiefs pulled it out. And it could have been an even more comfortable victory. The offense had opportunities, even more opportunities than they got, to succeed. And that started on the opening drive. The Chiefs looked like they had a clear touchdown on the opening drive. It looked like, they were down to the 1 yard line right away with Xavier Worthy. And, he just couldn't corral it in bounds, right? We've all seen this play. Chiefs end up punting in this drive, even though they got this close, because Mahomes got sacked and got pushed back. But just to give the quick little preview of it or remembrance of it, just couldn't get his feet down. Right, you saw it right there. But what was cool about it is you did hear from Mahomes and Coach Andy Reid today. Today's Wednesday. In their opening remarks, they were kind of asked about it. Pete was kind of asking about it, our boss. And they actually gave Xavier Worthy a lot of positive remarks on this play, because what you're going to see is the Bucs do rotate to kind of an odd coverage, not a coverage you necessarily expect to see at any given snap. It's kind of a invert cover 2, where the cornerback is going to drop back and act as that deep safety, one of those deep safeties in a too high look. It's actually the cornerback that's going to drop back and do that, and then another player is going to replace him as this flat defender, right? And so it's kind of an odd rotation. At first it just looks like it's going to be kind of a cover 3, kind of a typical, early down look where you're going to have a 1 high and deep third, deep third, deep third. Well, Worthy adjusts to that. He sees this corner go all the way back, become a safety, become that 2 high safety. And so he says, shoot, well, there's nobody, he's already committed so hard to the inside. Look, he's already turning his hips. He's facing the inside where McCole is. Well, shoot, I'm just going to get as wide as possible, and I'm going to be open, because this guy doesn't have the speed to drop and catch me. And obviously he has responsibility of the flat. He's going to be, having a look at the running back, making sure he's not getting the ball. This is a good job by Worthy to adjust his route. That's what, apparently this was supposed to be more of an in-breaking route, but again, he just adjusts to the coverage. He just doesn't do a good job of finishing the play. And so he leaves this play on the field. But again, Mahomes even said it in his, he described it. He said, hey, my eyes are on that middle guy first, seeing how he can break open. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw that Worthy was breaking wide open because of the coverage, and he just triggered it and went right to him. And again, Worthy just has to have better field awareness here. He just has to know where he's at, catch the ball, stay in bounds, and the Chiefs are cooking with gas right out the gate. This is a good job by Worthy all the way up until the catch. So I think it was worth pointing out that it's right there. And this next play too is going to kind of show that, where we're right there with Worthy on a few of these plays, where it's just the little things kind of keeping him from becoming, maybe just a little bit more of a productive receiver. I think we all see how he's opening things up. You just showed a great example of how he's opening things up for everybody else, but he does have to pair that with production. And you saw on this play, just an incomplete pass where I do think Mahomes needs to get it to him a little quicker and give him a better chance. But it's an outbreaking route. He does a good job of kind of getting inside and then, making the corner kind of flip his hips for just a second to give him that initial space to the sideline. Ball just doesn't get there as quick. I think that might be a chemistry thing. Mahomes, you can kind of see it here. He's not the cleanest. He could have maybe, let that rip on with one less hitch. I think he hitched one too many times, maybe a little bit. But still, the ball does get there. You'd like to see Worthy be able to keep his feet down. He has a chance to. His feet are in position, but he just kind of lifts his front leg, and it is hard to see, but he just doesn't able to get his feet down. You'd like to see maybe Mahomes or Worthy go a little more limp here. Be able to just keep his feet and go for the ball instead of bringing his feet with him. That's just kind of the little details that's keeping Worthy from, again, being a little more productive. This was I think this was late in the half. This was a big opportunity. And it's good to see them using him on these kind of routes, right? Like, it's cool to see Worthy not just, being, used or being targeted on true primary, outside receiver routes. Just got to finish these plays sometimes. So again, I do think Mahomes, could have helped him a little bit with a little bit faster, more of a bullet, a little quicker, again, out of his hands. Kind of floats this a little bit. And I say float it, in Mahomes turns, he floated a little bit. But yeah, no, I think Worthy is still, there's still some stuff, being left on the table, and here's another example of things being left on the table for Monday night. Hey, I came into this game, Caleb. I said, hey, Chiefs could score 40 points. This could be a Mahomes statement kind of game. I really thought that, and I think we were very close to my prediction. I do think it was a Mahomes MVP statement kind of game, right? Would you agree that Mahomes maybe put himself back in the MVP conversation with a game like Monday?
I mean, definitely, yeah. I mean, he was slinging the ball, pretty efficient, finding his guys when he needed to. I mean, it's hard. What he's been dealing with for the last year is hard. It's been musical chairs. There wasn't really, and even this year to next year, there wasn't like a ton of continuity from this receiver room from last year to this year. I mean, MVS is gone. I mean, yeah, you've got like Juju back, but they hadn't played together in a while, and he's injured. Hollywood out, Rashee Rice out. Those are guys that they practice with and plan for. So it's been hard on him. I mean, it's definitely been hard on him, especially with what he went, Watson, Gray, Kelsey. That's really it from last year, who he's been able to rely on. McCole Hardman too. But, just adding in these guys that he thinks, are going to help him, and you can just see that confidence. I think that's going a long way.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think D-Hop, the first, you saw it from the Raiders game. These last two games, but Holmes has played as confidently, as comfortably from the pocket, just in the rhythm of the game, as he has all season. This was his first game without an interception, unbelievably. But that just puts him on track too. Again, I think he is getting himself back in this MVP race, kind of proven. I think Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, absolutely, great candidates for the award this season so far. But that is the thing. Mahomes did his thing and could have had more on the table. Could have had more of this game. This was actually on the drive before half. Kelsey actually fumbled a few plays after this. But what you're going to get is Mahomes read this out perfectly to give himself a shot at a deep touchdown. Bucs are going to kind of give away their one high structure. This strong safety is going to be coming down, to kind of shade over Kelsey, kind of make sure he doesn't get too much room at that second level. And then that one high guy, which is Antoine Winfield, he clearly is shading towards Worthy, right? Look how far away he is towards Worthy's side. He wants to, definitely, kind of give attention to him. And Worthy actually does, even with that attention, he does get past that and have a chance if Mahomes wants to give it to him. But no, Mahomes reads this perfectly. And Winfield is following Mahomes' eyes. This isn't all just Winfield going over here. Mahomes is taking him there with his eyes. I used to love doing this as a quarterback. When you get that one high look, yeah, you just give the one vertical a look, and then you go back to the other one because that safety's flipped. You trust your other receiver to just make a play. You don't even have to look at him beating the coverage. And Justin Watson gets a free release here, right? So he's going to get a fast track downfield. Gets past the cornerback, gives himself great position. Oh, just cannot finish it. And you could make the argument that he angled his route a little bit inside. Mahomes puts it back out a little to his outside shoulder. Maybe that's where the difference is. But Mahomes cannot throw this inside. He knows that. He wants to put this back out. So that's on Watson, if anything, for angling his route a little too inside. Maybe not just getting right back out, right? He maybe just kind of gets a little too far inside of an angle. Needs to come back out once he gets on top of the corner. And it just makes a little bit of a difference, man. This would have been a huge play. Again, Kelsey fumbled a few snaps later. That play, the Worthy play, all of a sudden you make these two plays. You're talking 40 points. You're talking 5 touchdowns, maybe. You're talking 300, 400, maybe yards. We're this close to this Chiefs offense being back to what you talked about, that 2018 explosiveness.
The more and more though, and it should be talked about, Travis Kelce was awesome. Like, we don't have any
Oh
clips of it.
yeah,
This was his
right.
best game of the season by far.
Yeah,
I mean, he was eating against solid linebackers. Also, as Kelce and Hopkins start to eat apart this underneath coverage more and more, teams aren't just going to sit back and just let it happen. So you're
yeah.
going to see the deep ball start to open back up probably just in a couple of weeks, but we will see.
Yeah, no, I think you already seen it to an extent. I mean, just right here, even just the fact that both these guys, both the safeties are kind of just, even Winfield, even though he's shaded towards Worthy, he's really playing that second level. They're daring the Chiefs to make this play. They're daring the Chiefs to make a vertical play, and they haven't converted on as many as they need to, and so defenses are going to continue to say, hey, well, you got to make these plays. Hey, this was right around the time last year that Rice really took off as a rookie. We do need to give Worthy, the grace that he is a rookie still learning in the offense, and he doesn't have as much pressure on him as Rice did last year to be a true focal point of the offense. I do think though the vertical game, the deep passing game is a lot harder, maybe to become a super efficient or clean at than some of the maybe just kind of the quick hitting stuff that is a little just faster paced, and the deep ball stuff can really be a lot of angles and timing, and it really can be thrown off by just a little bit, like we're kind of talking about even on this play where, yeah, maybe Watson's angle on the route just enough, made this play not a touchdown and just an incompletion. So what if we see Worthy take that, kind of next step as a rookie and really unlock this vertical passing game with defenses daring them to do it more? Man, it's exciting because I do think what you've talked about with D Hop and Kelce. I mean, yeah, Kelce had 14 freaking catches. That was the most he's ever had in a game. Unbelievably. And I think this Denver defense has been tough this week, Caleb. But I think the Chiefs' offense is in a rhythm right now that'll be hard to really put down, especially at home. That first noon kickoff of the year for the Chiefs. I don't know. What are you feeling? You feeling good about this game coming up? Denver coming off a big road blowout in Baltimore, losing.
Yeah.
I should make clear.
Well, that was the new look Broncos, looking a lot like the same old Broncos. I know that their defense is very good. I think that is, clearly the strong point of their team. We didn't talk about much defense tonight. I think that Steve Spagnuolo is going to welcome Bo Nix to the NFL. And Bo Nix was in college for like 7 years, so I don't think anyone's going to feel too bad for, well, here's a little bit of defense. There's a bit of defense to be shown. Ron, you're muted.
I didn't want to be too hard on the defense.
Well, there's
they
one guy. There's a guy on the defense we know you have a history with, some issues on Twitter, now X. I don't know if that's still in effect with all the new things going on this app, on the app and everything, but
yeah,
couldn't help ourselves.
Still blocked.
K. Dotton kind of tore the Chiefs up, and they didn't have anyone else except for when they put McDuffie on him in the goal line.
Yeah, going into this game, the Chiefs were still the NFL leader in tight end allowed yards and allowed receptions of tight ends going into this game. And the Bucs not having, their top two wideouts, and missing, Sterling Shepard, I should say, play, but he was just, on the injury report. They were pretty banged up, and K. Dotton really did feel like one of their only threats, one of their only weapons. And I think the Chiefs respected that for sure. I just think they got beat a few times, including this play where Jay Reed, does come down. They're kind of doing shifting man coverage, where obviously once he shifts over, where B Cook was probably going to pick him up over here. They're communicating, look, I got him, man, I got him. And if you guys remember, I did break it down after the 49ers game too. Jay Reed made a similar play as this when he gave up a big 50-yard catch to George Kittle in that game, where he just kind of guesses wrong. He's a very smart player. He anticipates very well. He does his film study. And players like that, when you're known as a smart player, sometimes the offense says, well, hey, we're going to try to, use that against you. And maybe there's a look in the Buccaneers, film room that this is a pretty, common play in the red zone, where maybe they're just trying to get a swing pass to the running back here. They're just blocking. They're not actually running, a pass play here. Or it's just a quicker pass to K. Dot, and Jay Reed just feels like he can come up and play, tighter coverage. It's just a bad play. just a bad play on his part to kind of allow the wheel route this easily. If he didn't play this so aggressively, right? If he kind of just picks him up, knows, kind of reads it out first, he doesn't get picked. He can play it over the top. He can take it away. Instead, he gets way too aggressive, comes in, lets himself get picked. That's a wheel route touchdown. So, it's not like the Chiefs didn't have focus on Cade Otton here. It was just a little bit of misexecution. Baker does a good job of selling the quick pass with the shimmy of his shoulders. And so, here's another play where Cade Otton makes a big play. And this is just a little bit of, Jaden Hicks is actually the safety here. So this is a little interesting. I don't remember if Jay Reed just had to go out for a play or if they were rotating him in, legitimately with Jay Reed. But Jaden Hicks is the safety here. Kind of just gets over the top, a little too much. Kind of gets himself, with the direction looking like the play is going that direction. It looks like they have a 4-by-1 set, right? I was talking about with the Chiefs earlier. Getting those 4-by-1 sets can really overwhelm a defense. Jaden Hicks just kind of falls victim to that, but so does Drew Tranquill, which is, something that we praise Drew Tranquill a lot for his coverage ability. You just love to see a little more instinct to understand that, look, dude, there's only one receiver over here. All 4 of the other receivers are on that side. Why are you giving this space so much credit, or so much respect? You'd like to see him kind of recognize that quicker, tighten up, and take away something coming across, and he just isn't able to, kind of gives it up. Yeah, so again, it's a little bit of just misexecution. It's not like the defense, and Jaden Hicks honestly does a pretty good job of getting back and making sure he doesn't make a play besides just the catch. But again, just stuff where you'd like to see the defense play a little more instinctual. Here, Christian Roland-Wallace is kind of the victim here, where they're just playing kind of a zone dropping where they're kind of just picking up guys aggressively in their zones. But you'd like to see Christian Roland-Wallace, once he gets this bump here, really commit to taking him away. He kind of hesitates to go all the way into the flat with him. You got to go, man. That's you. He's not coming back, and you're in perfect position if he does. So you don't have to hesitate. Just go take him away, and he just doesn't. That's Christian, a rookie again, in a big spot. So again, I think the defense understands who they need to cover. I think there's a lot of just, maybe misexecution in this game, in coverage. And it just led to a few too many points, more points than we've seen the Chiefs defense give up this year. But I have no worries about the Chiefs defense in big moments, big games, big spots. They will just have to maybe tighten up a little bit for that at that tight end position. Because some good tight ends you'll have to face in big games this year. I mean, the Bills are coming, or they're going to be going to Buffalo soon. Caleb, playing Dalton, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, and some of the other big players. But yeah, I mean, are you worried about the defense at all coming out of this game? Did you feel like there was points of concern?
A little bit. Just that last corner on the field is a little bit of concern. It is what it is. They've had injuries, so they've got guys that need to step up. But if there's one thing we have seen the Chiefs do since Spags has been here, it's they have been able to coach up lesser corners to perform in big spots, because we always have seen the Chiefs better corners, better cornerback play later in the season once some of the young guys get reps. Need to see a little bit more out of the pass rush. Tampa Bay does have a good offensive line. I'd like to see a little bit more out of them. I think they're going to start to sprinkle in Uche a little bit more. They just kind of got his feet a little bit wet. He almost made a couple plays in there. But, yeah, I mean, and I thought that George Karlaftis and Chris Jones played fine games, but they're going to need every bit of that, especially with the cornerbacks not playing their best game. But I'm not overly concerned also because I don't think Spags got real exotic. He didn't blitz Baker a lot. Baker's been good against the blitz in general.
Yes.
They kind of laid back on that, and I know that's their bread and butter. That's like, Spags special. It was also a non-conference game against a Tampa Bay team who they probably didn't think that they were going to have to bring out all the stops against. I would assume when we get into these critical AFC West game or AFC games down the line, you're going to see all the creativity and all the funky stuff. This was like a pretty straightforward defensive game plan, if you ask me.
No, that's a good point. You can make the argument. I think people were saying that. I think the Bucs offensive coordinator Liam Cohen was out coaching Spags a little bit, but I think you can make the argument that Spags maybe wasn't dialing it completely up. Kind of trusting his guys. You got to do that in some of these games where you just got to trust your guys to win. You don't have to. You can't always bring out the best stuff. So that's a good point. And we'll see their best stuff. I imagine coming up. With Buffalo. Coming on the schedule. Even Denver, though, Denver is a 5-4 team. They're in the playoff race. They're in the mix. Light up that rookie quarterback. I don't think Bo Nix has seen a Spagnuolo defense, so that'll be exciting to see what Spags has cooking for that rookie quarterback coming to Arrowhead.
He can run a little bit, so be careful. But he's also like a 26-year-old rookie, so give him the business a little bit.
Yeah, no, mobile quarterbacks have always given the Chiefs trouble. I imagine, that'll be part of the game plan. Sean Payton understands that. Smart offensive coach. Linebackers, edge rushers definitely got to rush with smart, intelligence in terms of, making sure he's contained, making sure he's not slipping away from him, making big plays on third down with his legs. It'll be a fun game. It'll be a fun game for the Chiefs to try to advance to 9-0, amazingly. Before that big matchup in Buffalo. We'll be breaking it down next week, no matter what happens. Hopefully another W for the Chiefs at home in Arrowhead. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Make sure you like us, follow us on Twitter, I should say. Follow the page, follow the YouTube page. Make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to anything that AP's putting out. We're kind of, carrying the YouTube page right now, but that's great. We love breaking down the X's and O's. We'll be doing it every week. But make sure you're checking out the podcast channel. Making sure you're checking out the site. Caleb's going to have a written film breakdown of what we talked about tonight. And so make sure you're tuning in. We'll get ready for the Broncos this Sunday at noon. And until then, when we break it down next week, we will catch you then. Appreciate you guys. See you next time.